Hope everybody's doing well. We got a Lexus CT200. We actually have never had a CT200 on the channel, so this is the first time. For some noise and some regular maintenance, let's go get the car. We'll talk about it as we go. It is extremely cold today in Chicago, so we'll have to put our hat on. For our Canadian friend, you'll be laughing. It's around 22 degrees today. It's pretty cold. Sunny, but cold. Well, our CT200 is hiding behind the Sienna, which we're gonna do a I think thermostat on this. We gotta check it out. This is a lowered CT200, which is pretty cool. It's making noise. Very clean car. We've actually worked on this car before. Let's go for a drive. We'll talk about what it needs because it's way too cold to hang outside today. All right, CT200, which is essentially a fancy third generation Prius. Nice. It has that screen that pops up. All right, so here's, and it beeps like a third generation Prius. We have noises on this car. These are the concerns. We're doing a tire rotation, and one of the noises is from the roof. Every time you go over a bump, the sunroof makes noise. If you tilt it up, it goes out. I've already looked at this. We've already diagnosed it, but we'll run through it. We'll actually fix it today. We finally got the parts and some other noise that the customer had was over bumps. We have some new noises. First noise is you kind of hear it just by turning the wheel. Let's go for a quick drive and see what we hear here. Ooh, this thing is rough over bumps. It's lowered. Let me go over. We don't have a lot of bumps around here, unless. This is very bumpy. Let's go over the bumps again. Oh yeah, I hear it. I hear like a squeak as this side comes on, the driver's side. Let's go back in the shop. We don't even need to drive it that far. I already hear it. And we'll listen to it. And that noise from the sunroof, I have to hit it hard on bumps, which I don't want to do here. Let's see. Kinda can hear it. It's not very loud. We don't want it fixed. So basically, if you have noise from the sunroof or noise in the roof, you're gonna tilt the roof up, just like this. The noise would go away over bumps. Let's try it again. All I'm hearing is that noise from the suspension, which is possibly cold related. Oh, look, yeah, pretty cool old Ford here. The neighbor has a few old cars. Let's pull it in the shop. Let's pull it in the shop. Something about the shop. Seems like we can never not have some kind of Lexus LS. Here's another LS 430 in the shop. The one we worked on the other days just left today. Here's another one. All right, let's take a look at this noise, then we'll take care of the roof and the tire rotation. All right, let's rack this up. This is lowered. We want the lowest position. We had to cut the video. Eros helped me lift the car because this thing is really lower fun working on lowered cars. I don't miss it one bit. That's good. Squeeze up. See. Perfect. Well, let's take a look under the hood first. Let's check the oil level here. These things are known to burn oil. Well, it's a little low. I want to see when was the last oil change done before we top it off. So let's check a few things on this car. First one is front timing cover. Looks like, just by looking at this gray sealer right here and how it looks like somebody's been here. I don't think that's factory sealer. It just doesn't look as perfect. But it's not original sealer. Original sealer replacement would be black. Something else that is common, if you look down here where the thermostat housing is, that's notorious to leak coolant. Well, this one ain't leaking, so that's good. You usually see some pink crust, and that's about it. Let's check the other fluids. Coolant's good. Inverter coolant is good. Brake fluid's good. I don't see any major leaks, or usually you'll see oil all over here. That's not too bad. I don't see anything else. Well, let's raise it up and investigate our sound there. Well, we got our F Sport lowering springs. These might be an accessory. They look decent shape. Don't see any issues with them. Wheel. There's no movement. Brakes are good. This car is generally in good shape. We've checked it before, but here we are. These are the problems. So this strut is leaking. See it right here. It's not a terrible leak. For some reason it's making noise. Perhaps having the lower springs have something to do with it. Because the spring is fine, strut's leaking. And I want to see the bump stop, which is stuck up here. Yeah, this bump stop doesn't look like it's... Usually when the strut is blown, the bump stop will be all torn at the bottom because it's been hitting all the time. This one looks fine, but what we do recommend here is this insulator or rubber boot. It's torn. No reason to replace it just because it's torn, because you have to disassemble the whole thing. But if you are going to replace a strut, might be a good idea to replace that as well. And of course, the strut mount. You always replace strut mounts when you do one of these, because you're gonna have a comeback and things will not go well. Just put a strut mount every single time. Front brakes are good. Control arm looks good. Well, let's raise it up and we'll look at the rest of the stuff. All right. Let's look again, and we have missing stuff. I don't like missing stuff. So on the third generation Prius and equally on the CT, there's a door here for where you do the oil change. This door is missing. If you have this in your car and it's missing, this will affect your gas mileage slightly. So if you're wondering what happened and this is all of a sudden missing, this is why. Somebody did an oil change and got a little leak. I don't think we did the last oil change here. This car was gone for a while. Front timing cover, hard to see it. Trying to find you a good spot. Maybe if we come from here. Somebody already replaced it, resealed it, but it's still wet. So not to a point where I would replace it, but we'll keep an eye on it, I suppose. Otherwise, I don't see any other leaks here, which is not something to be expected. Usually the hybrid transmissions don't have or known for a lot of leaks. We got an aftermarket sway bar. Let's check the links and the bushings. This one is good. Folks, whenever you check bushings, or first the link, you're just gonna grab the link, move it up and down. If there's any play in the link, when you move the bar up and down, you're gonna feel it. And then you hold the bar and you move it up and down. If you don't see any movement, then the bushings are good. Walking back here, there is that contraption for the coolant in the catalytic converter. I don't see any leaks. Sometimes they are common to leak, but this one dry, no leaks. As we make our way back, got a small exhaust leak here. See how this flex joint is just loose. See when you see black right here, that equals leaks. It's just a gasket. You can replace the gasket, and that's about it. Then we go in the back. Unlike the Prius, this has independent rear suspension. That's really the only difference between the two. Between the Prius and the CT200, you have another upgraded F Sport sway bar here. And then here are the springs in the back, the long springs. A little on the rusty side in the back, but not too terrible. Shock is good, not leaking. Rear brakes are notorious to seize on these. If you ever spin them and they don't spin, that's not good. You want to investigate them. They're notorious to seize. Sway bar link is good. That's also common to break. This sway bar link is good. This wheel. This one is starting to seize up. It's like it doesn't move as freely as this one. That's the beginning. And let's look at the pad life here. Yeah, plenty of pad life, but perhaps we want to consider in the near future, you just take the brakes apart, clean them up, and that should do that. So here's what we have on this car, in addition to the sunroof, which we're going to lower the car down now and do that. We need front strut. Whenever you replace struts, replace pairs, do not replace one. So we're going to recommend 2 front struts, 2 front insulators, that rubber boot that goes over the strut that protects it, and then 2 mounts. We're going to recommend a exhaust gasket right here. It's not leaking to a point where you hear it, but it is leaking, and it's only going to get worse. We'll give them the option if they want to do it. This is something super simple, very DIY. 2 bolts, comes out, pull the gasket, clean it up a little bit, put a new gasket, we're done. It's as simple as that. There's really nothing to it. Let's lower this car, and I wanted to also look at these tires, which I always tell you, when you lower cars or change the suspension, tires will start showing abnormal wear. And I heard them on the drive, they're just rough. And they have a feathered edge right here. Same thing in the back. Oh yeah, this is even worse. When you check tires, you just put your hand right here. You feel the roughness of the edge. These do have rough edges, and they are the, what was this brand called? Sumitomo off-brand tires, folks. This is not a good tire, honestly, but does have decent tread life left. What is the date on these? Let's look on the date. There is our date. 2019. These are not that old tires, so probably by the time we get to replace them, it'll be really loud and bad. Let's lower this car down and start pulling the sunroof, and we'll get that taken care of. In case you folks are wondering why there's a 2-month wait to get into the shop, some people have come in the waiting room. Hey, you guys are not busy. I don't see anybody. Well, here's what we have today. I just want to give you an idea. This is a waiter. This customer's actually waiting. This LS430 came in. It's a drop-off. We actually already did a Belt noise, something that's super common with these, is the belt tensioner goes loose and starts making noise. But also this idler right here, super common on these, to go and start making all kinds of noise. This idler at the top, if you have this V8 or the 4.7, that's the same deal. There's a tensioner and there's a little idler. So we're actually waiting for the idler on this. It also has an intermittent check engine light, needs a catalytic converter. We're waiting for an answer on that one. That car in the back, the Camry, you've seen it now a couple times. This is an accident car. You'll see a video on this. We're waiting for the insurance here. Look at this wheel, perfectly straight. This wheel, not so straight. Fortunately, they slid over some ice, damaged suspension. You'll see a video on this. We got 3 more cars outside. We got that Sienna you saw for the thermostat, and we got an old ES300 for some evap stuff. Actually, the evap stuff is sitting right there. We'll film that as well. Then we got 1 more car coming in, which I heard the door. They must have just came in. Let's get this glass off. We'll replace the seal over it real quick, and we'll wrap up the video. Toyota sunroof glass, you just tilt it up. There's a few covers. I'll remove them on that side. You'll see them. And then a couple Torx screws. Just clips right here and here. This is a slightly different style than the usual. Nothing to it really. And you just grab the glass very carefully, pull it out. I've done a video on this, so you guys can watch that for detailed how-to. But basically, we want to mark it. I believe our crayon sits right here. There it is. Right. Garbage. Let's get the new seal. Get some silicone spray, which is what you're going to need to install this. Start with some silicone spray. This is not a bad job, it just takes a little bit of patience. All right, well, seal's on. You gotta make sure to go around it, seat it all the way. All right, so here's what happens with these, in case you were wondering. The seal gets loose or kind of pushed down, and then this glass starts rattling in the opening. When you tilt it up, it no longer rattles against the body. That's why replacing the seal will quiet some of the noises. Do not get the mistaken, some of these noises happen because the structure of the roof itself comes apart and starts rattling about, but this is a common thing. And if you have a noise over bumps, you tilt that glass up, goes away. Start with the seal, because most of the time, probably 90% of the time, this will fix it and take care of it. Let's start cleaning this glass a little bit. It's much easier to clean it here than it is. This is the best style glass cleaner, in my opinion, the foaming type. I don't know, this company, Sprayway, whoever. Every time we get a different brand, but basically one that you spray that makes foam cleans glass the best. Let's get our crayon marks out. On 2. Clean this side. This side usually doesn't get as dirty as the outside. This car looks like it has tree sap or something. And stuck to the glass and coming off. Now, after this, put it back on the car. And there's that. Now I need my cameraman to help me line this up, which we're going to do that off camera. But folks, this is the CT200h. These are really good cars. Avoid ones before 2014. Those are the ones that burned oil, did all kinds of stuff. And I just noticed something right now about this car. It has an oil catch can. You see it right here. Now people say this will help you avoid all kinds of problems and whatnot. Folks, when these burn oil, they burn oil. There's nothing you can do about them. Yes, you can potentially eliminate some of the oil in intake and all that, but eventually even that's not going to work and you're going to have issues. Avoid 2014s, below 2014s. These can be really good cars. They're basically a third generation Prius that is really nice. They drive really nice. They're very quiet. Don't lower them because this one has a pretty rough ride. But otherwise, this is your CT200. We'll wrap up that roof. I just gotta get my cameraman that was holding the camera for you guys so we can align that sunroof, put the glass. We're done. I'll leave a link to that video where we did this for kind of a DIY if you want to do this. Otherwise, we just gotta rotate the tires in this car, let them know about the struts, let them know about the exhaust leak, and that's one more car done. Folks, I hope this video is helpful and informative. I hope you learned something new. If you like it, consider giving it a thumbs up. If you're not a subscriber, consider subscribing to the channel. Check out some other videos. And until the next video, may the Lord bless you and keep you, and you have yourself a wonderful day.